Yeah, we ain't worried about those Lakers, but we are excited for Showtime and what they continue to do. We're back for episode 5 of Winning Time, reacting to that. Loved all the reaction we've been getting to it. And before we really jump into it, let's do what we like to do here with this intro.
All right.
All right, we are back. It's your boy G, along with Alec, another episode of Section 300. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Love all the support you guys have been showing us on all of our platforms. Continue to show love on IG and TikTok at Section.300. Show love on Twitter at Section 300 Sports. Subscribe to the show for those watching here on YouTube, and subscribe to all our podcast streaming services as well. So appreciate all you guys for tuning in again. We've been covering Winning Time as the season continues to unfold, and we're here for episode 5. They continue to level up each episode, in my opinion. Definitely enjoy what we got in this latest one. And yeah, let's jump in straight to it. Alec, what'd you think of episode 5, Winning Time?
I liked it. I was gonna say it probably was like the least exciting of the 5 for me, but
sure,
I thought it was like cool to see more of like Kareem, like in his faith and his stances, kind of like against racism and whatnot. Just his social justice and it being bigger than basketball for him. So they really like delve into that aspect of it in this episode. So like by proxy, it was like a little bit slower at points, but it was cool to get that kind of like background too.
Absolutely, you gotta get some of that insight. I know we want all the glitz and glamour, and we joked about how they started off with all the flair there, but we really want to learn some things about this team, and we hope they would get into it, and they definitely did. Finally getting more into the story of Kareem, and how we talked early on about how he was very slow to embrace this new style of play, as well as very slow to embrace magic. But yeah, it definitely was a journey for him. Getting to this point, and then starting to make Showtime what it was. So yeah, definitely enjoy his story. Just continue with him. They talked a lot about Kareem in this story, in this episode. I'm glad that they did, because the first few episodes didn't really feature him as much. First off, before we actually get to Kareem, what did you think of the actor's portrayal? We've kind of talked about it in the past, but what did you think of? I believe his name was Dr. Solomon Johns.
Yeah, he's a doctor. I thought it's been great throughout, and I thought like this was more of a showcase of him, like in this episode. So he got to kind of take more of center stage, and I thought he did a great job of encapsulating like the aura of Kareem or Lou Alcindor. Well, they had a different actor for Lou Alcindor, but yeah, I thought he's done a good job of representing Kareem.
Yeah, definitely was fun. Definitely enjoyed seeing how it all pieced together. Was interesting seeing how Kareem was interesting seeing, or young Lou, actually, we'll start with him, seeing how he felt the weight of all the things that were going on around him at the time, the killings of black men and all the police brutality that was going on. And he goes home feeling all of these issues. And his father himself is a cop as well. And they clashed there. And definitely was interesting seeing how that dynamic played out. What did you think of young Lou and his portrayal there?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because like the actor that plays Kareem like isn't super old. So I was interested. It was like I didn't think they were gonna go with a different actor, like for the slightly younger Lou Alcindor, but I thought like that portrayal was solid as well, and like kind of showed, I guess, like the progression like of like his stances. I guess. I mean, it started off with him kind of like being initiated into the Muslim faith, yeah, just kind of showing the progression of where it like started for him, as far as him taking those strong stances against white establishment, and then going on to do so continuously as an NBA athlete as well too, even though it wasn't like the popular thing to do. So
yeah. I hate to go this way right after that, because there are more things to dissect in that regard. But what came to mind just now is, what do you think of him and all you just said about fighting against the white establishment, and then we see older Kareem with his white girlfriend or white person, whoever that was. Do you see any contrast in that?
Honestly, I didn't even think about that. Now that you bring that up, like it's a good point. I know people, especially like strong pro-black people, sometimes have a negative association with black people who associate with
right,
or choose a white partner. But no, like I don't think that takes away from the stances that he took. I mean, like he said, like he could have had a gold medal if he didn't, like that.
We'll get to that part, but yeah, I'll just say it was just interesting. I guess is the word I'll stick with. Interesting to see how he was fighting all of that, but still had her as his partner. But again, I'm not judging in that regard.
Love is love.
Love is love. Absolutely, not here to hate in any regard. But now, fast forwarding to older Kareem and where we are now. It's like we said, it took him a minute to embrace this new team. In one way, he flexed his accolades, and we saw when he was talking to Magic, and early on he was like, "I won a ring. I'm a 5-time MVP. All this good stuff."
Well, trust me, I'm gonna get to it. I have no point to make with that for sure.
Right. And then after the opener, he was like, "I'm gonna get my 30 and 10." That's what you think.
That's exactly where I was gonna go.
What do you think about Kareem being stats for wins early on in the season?
That's exactly where I was gonna go. I was wondering if you caught that too when he was
absolutely
McKinney about getting his 30 and 10. It made me immediately think about LeBron and his hashtag chasing Kareem.
Right.
Now he's like legitimately chasing that exact person, like chasing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, trying to get his 30 a game. And then Kareem is like, I'm gonna get my 30 and 10s. I was like, Kareem laid the blueprint for LeBron to chase stats. So
exactly.
Can't hate.
I guess we can't hate anymore, and that's solidifies the argument. That it was hilarious. It was hilarious also to that point after he hit to that opener and when he hit the game winner, and we see an iconic shot of Magic and Kareem hugging and Kareem not really feeling his embrace. We then go to Jack McKinney holding the stat sheet. He's like, "No way." He got his 30 and 10. He called it.
That's like Frank Vogel right now. Ron tells him we might lose, but I'm gonna get my 30.
Exactly, he's gonna get his. So I wonder if there was any correlation between the two. LeBron said, "Hey, make sure you tell the story right, so they stop hating on me and see what the truth is." So definitely was funny in that regard. But also in
they got the win too.
Right, you got the win too, and then just going back to the court itself. Just to the point about him not embracing the team. He wasn't really feeling this roster. It seemed like he was just more so felt like not only was he the captain, or not really the captain, he felt separate in a way. I felt like he
not the roster, more like the game style, like the
game style, and he also didn't really embrace any of the guys. He literally and figuratively, felt like he was the head above all these guys because of all the success that he had. And they were trying to find ways to get him to embrace this new team. And Jack McKinney found one of his former teammates, or just a guy that he was very fond of in Spencer Haywood, to join the team. And that definitely helped loosen them up. We saw the introduction where we didn't see Kareem really embrace anybody early on, but Spencer Haywood walking in the building, played by Wood Harris of all folks, who's a great iconic actor there. And he walked up and immediately walked over and dapped him up, and the whole locker room was like, "What? We ain't never seen Kareem do that." So definitely love seeing that. And Spencer going to him definitely was an interesting character. What do you think of Spencer Haywood's involvement in the squad, or introduction to the squad?
Yeah, it was funny, like to immediately like see him, that actor, like when he came in, I was like, oh, like I didn't even realize that he was gonna be in this.
Neither did I.
But yeah, it was cool to see him pop up, and I had to like look up Spencer Haywood because I know the name for sure, but I wasn't like too knowledgeable like about his history.
And to that point, pardon my ignorance, is there any relation to who's the more recent guy? I think it was like Brandon Haywood, something like that. Is there, you know about that?
I don't believe
I'm just putting nothing together. Maybe not, maybe so. Somebody in the comments will let us know. But yeah, that name came to mind. I was like, it's not Brandon Haywood, Spencer Haywood is somebody else. So it's gotta be different. But it definitely was fun to see his appearance. Also to that point, I kind of laughed. I'm not gonna lie, because respectfully, Wood Harris is a little bit older now. So I was like, they can have him doing a bunch of basketball scenes and trying to go out there and run with these guys. Like, I was interested to see how they did it. And he didn't play a whole lot of basketball. There was the weird scene where he was in the locker room and talking about his whatever
how he circumcised.
Right. But basketball wise, I was kind of laughing at. They're not gonna have him running around playing basketball at his age. They had him cheer on the sideline one time, but not a whole lot of action. But
like I said too, about him, like he had to embrace like being a role player, because like he wasn't really like a star at least anymore at that point in his career. So it was like
he wasn't a star anymore, but they did talk about how he got into the game and how he paved the way for guys like for Kobe and LeBron as being a guy who I believe came out of high school early on, and was one of the first players, maybe the first player to do that. So definitely was a monumental player in his own right.
I believe the first player, because he went to court over it and they ruled in his favor for him to be able to go straight to the league and not have to play 4 years of college. So yeah, I think he was the first.
Mm-hmm. He definitely changed the game, and it was very important to have him for Kareem to have him on the court with him. So definitely appreciate his appearance in there. Also, there was a moment, I think it was in a conversation with Kareem when he first got there. Did you hear that stray that Utah caught when they were talking? Especially Haywood threw a stray. He was talking about how I don't know how he was team in Utah and called them the Jazz. It's just more Utah hate. They snuck in, so definitely laughed at that. But
everybody takes shot at Utah.
Exactly.
Like Vernon Maxwell or something on Twitter is like always. He's a former Jazz player. Is always taking shots at the Jazz.
Definitely. So that was funny to see. But yeah, definitely loved all the involvement that Kareem had. Loved how he went from being against all the embracing the team and to starting to come around to him, and love Spencer as well. So where you want to go from there?
From Spencer, I guess we could just talk about like the opening as far as like opening up the forum, that aspect of it with Dr. Buss.
Correct.
Yeah. Because like they were having some trouble. His business partner and like right-hand man kind of bailed on him before the opening, I guess because of all the demands and the financial issues and whatever.
He sold the team and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. So he bailed on him, and Jerry Buss, it seemed like he's kind of having his own like second guessing himself, like doubting whether or not it could be successful.
Right.
They were able to set up the Laker girls. He was like a little bit too hands-on, I guess. Not like literally hands-on, but like just a little bit too involved in some of the processes behind the scenes. And Jeannie had to step in and help and get a new squad and brought in Paula Abdul for the Lakers.
Shout out Paula.
And brought the flair that he was looking for
exactly
to Showtime. So that was cool to see that introduction for the Laker girls. It may not be something that we pay attention to much now, but it was a big thing back then. So
absolutely, and then seeing their introduction and how it all put together, seeing how he, as much as he was just at one end, kind of like we talked about with Magic and the parallels there. On one end, he's very lighthearted and fun and all that. But at the same time, he also has this perfectionist kind of mentality to him. And we saw after that first introduction he saw of Paula and the Laker girls in the Forum Club, he saw that he was still mad about the little lift, where that little door in the club and all of that. He needed everything perfect because he wanted the presentation to be as grand as it could be. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely loved seeing both sides of Jerry in this episode and all that came with it. So definitely was fun. And then I guess kind of circling around as games started, we saw a little Kobe cameo in that opening night when they opened up against the Clippers to the game we mentioned with them having that Magic or for that Kareem final play game winner. I love seeing that. And they threw that little Kobe cameo in there, and that was a dope scene there. So I don't know how accurate that is. That's crazy that he was at the first game there, and
probably was like
the legend that he would be. But
Jelly Bean Joe Bryant was playing that opening night. Like he probably was there because that's the LA game. They're both LA teams, so
I like how you having Chick say and the newborn Kobe Bryant in the stands there and all of that. Definitely was dope. And then Chick, what do you think about him and Pat Riley's dynamic? Chick not really letting Pat have any say and letting him know, hey, don't be talking, don't talk when I'm going, and I'll let you know when you can roll. So what do you think of their dynamic in the booth?
Yeah, Chick was kind of like the godfather of broadcasting, I guess, like at that time, especially for the Lakers for sure. But if this is actually how Chick was, like he's not getting painted in the most the best light in this show.
Very eye-opening.
Definitely. Because he was painted with a very rose-colored brush by many a Laker fan. So from that day and age. So interesting to see this side of him. But Pat Riley kind of getting the the rookie treatment himself, like Kareem is doing Magic right now, getting the rookie treatment from Chick Hearn, and he's not really feeling broadcasting. Like you could tell he's itching to kind of be more involved with the game. And he's trying to comment on the game, and then Chick gives him the signal like, "Put your mouth real quick." But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Pat gets more involved with the coaching side, because we know that's coming soon as well.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, and we kind of talked about early on with McKinney, looking at Kareem's stats and all of that. What do you think of McKinney and his role in this episode? He definitely was trying to make this thing work, but couldn't do it alone. So he went to Magic like, hey, you gotta be a leader here, and step to Magic and step to Kareem and get him to embrace this team. So definitely was dope to see, and all that came with it. We'll get to the final scene, but before then, what do you think of McKinney trying to get this team rolling?
Yeah, I thought it was his dream job. Like he always wanted to have control of his own team and kind of showcase his high-paced offense and on the biggest stage. And he got that opportunity and really didn't want to mess it up, and knew that he saw something special in Magic. Knew that Kareem is special as well, just hasn't bought in. And so kind of clung to Magic there in that moment, because he saw that Magic was trying to make it work and saw the vision kind of like he did. And they were off to a great start, a 9-4 start. And it was looking like it was going to work very, very, very well. And I think some of the players still like credit McKinney as like the brainchild behind Showtime, like the entire Showtime Lakers. Like obviously, as we'll get to, other coaches took over, but he's the one who brought the philosophy to the team, and then they kind of ran with it from there. So he's going to get major credit for that.
Absolutely. Learning that was amazing. Definitely salute to him for the role he played in getting this team, setting the groundwork for this team will become. Definitely appreciated him in that. But to your point, there were changes that would be on the way, because we saw at the end that McKinney, on one of their off days while the team was rolling, got into a very serious bike accident. Again, in the same way that after I think it was Vic Wise, who that was a couple episodes ago when he got killed, where you look at it, you didn't believe it, or in the trunk and all that stuff. When that accident happened, I'm like, there's no way this is real. Like, what's going on in this show? So I immediately went and looked it up, and McKinney got into a very serious bike accident, heading to play tennis with Paul Westhead, and he actually was landed head first, as we kind of saw, was in a coma for 3 days, and that led to I guess the end of his coaching tenure, and Paul Westhead would take over and try to keep things afloat. What do you think of how that transpired? Were you shook by that too, or were you aware of it before it happened?
I wasn't shook, only because I looked up Jack McKinney after last episode when he was introduced. So I saw the part about him like getting into the accident and then Westhead taking over.
Got it.
So I knew that was coming. It was still kind of like graphic. It was like, oh damn, like that was
they do good with the graphics.
Like that was serious. The way he like skidded across like the pavement. I'm like, dang, like that's why you got to wear a helmet, man. Like,
hey, back in those days, they just did what they wanted to do. So I'm sure they were wearing their helmets after that.
That was tough. That was tough. Like riding off that high of them playing really great basketball to go down like that.
And it was so early too.
Yeah, only 13 games in. But great that they at least had started to build that chemistry and that flow, and then Westhead had been like his right-hand man coaching in previous locations, so he was able to step in and go on to win a title. So it worked out. But
yeah, we'll see all of that unfold. But we saw in the preview of the next episode that there was still some uncertainty about Paul. Very interested to see how that's going to play. Folks really think Paul is that guy. He had that very sensitive character, and wasn't really pushing that guy as it seemed. So definitely looking forward to how this next episode goes down.
No respect from Jerry West for
no
West.
no respect at all. So definitely excited for that. Also, did you see who we're gonna see next episode as well?
Are you talking about like Bird? Like
we're gonna see Larry Bird finally show up.
I don't know if will be for sure next episode, but
I might do next episode, but they at least put it in the trailer for something to come. So definitely excited for that duo and seeing how he's going to go in at Magic. Of course, they're the legendary rivalry there, so like excited for all of it. I wonder if that's going to bring back was Ray at that time again, right? As the head coach. Yeah. So seeing him come back around and seeing if there's going to be any more clashes between him and Jerry, anything like that, they're definitely excited for all that's to come in winning time. So another episode in the books. Anything else you want to talk about with the episode real quick?
Let me see. No, I don't think so. I think we covered all of my notes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, definitely another great one. Excited for what's to come in the series. Just past the halfway mark. Excited for what's to come with the rest of the show. Definitely a fun one. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you guys think of the show in the comments. Let us know on IG and TikTok at section.300. Let us know on Twitter at section3sports. You add us as well. Just say G, your boy G here, or Lakers fan 24 for Alec. Love to chat with you guys about the latest episode and all that's to come. So appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Again, subscribe to the show here on YouTube or those listening on podcast streaming services. And appreciate you guys, man. We'll see you later on in the week to talk about all the other sports thing in the world. So another great episode in the books, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Deuces.